Hey there, high level listeners. Are you learning English and want to sound more natural in real conversations? You are in the right place. This is High Level Listening, our podcast where we teach you everyday conversational vocabulary through fun American and British stories. I'm Kat, an American English teacher from the United States.
And I'm Mark from the UK. We're both real teachers who love sharing our language and culture with our students. And today, because we're nearly at the end of summer, we're going to talk about changing of the seasons. So summer turning into autumn in the UK.
Or in American English, where we normally call it fall. So today, like always, you'll hear lots of expressions, very naturally spoken, casual vocabulary about the changing weather, as well as some American and British differences along the way.
Yes, like always, we have lots of extra helpful material for our students in our High Level Listening store. Every episode, we make bonus materials for our study guides, which include picture dictionaries, listening activities, PDF transcripts, an ad-free version of the episode as well.
We've also got lots of other opportunities for you guys to chat in English, talk with us, and message us as well. And any extra goodies that we might have for you this week, all the links you need for that are in the link below.
Okay, so let's get into today's episode. Kat will go first with her American story about the changing of the seasons. So I'll ask, what's the weather like at the moment where you are?
Well, here in Texas, fall isn't really much to write home about. It's just a little less hot than normal. The seasons change really slowly, but lately I have felt that subtle shift in the air. Mornings are finally crisp, so I've started layering up a long sleeve zip up or a hoodie over a light layer or two underneath. By lunchtime, though, once the sun is fully out, I'm back in a short sleeve. I've swapped my flip-flops for my tennis shoes and pulled out a few comfy sweaters, but I haven't really brought out my fall-inspired wardrobe yet. Maybe by October. Fingers crossed. All right, so what about you, Mark? What's the weather like at the moment where you are?
We've definitely moved on from summer now. Just a couple of weeks ago, we still had those long, sunny evenings, but now it's getting darker earlier and the mornings feel a lot cooler. I've even had to dig out my jumpers again, and I've even started taking a scarf when I head off to work. I actually quite like autumn here, though. The parks look amazing as the trees turn gold and red, and there's this really nice crisp feeling in the air. But it definitely feels like autumn is on our doorstep, and we're getting ready for those cozy evenings once again. Okay, so don't worry if you didn't understand everything from both of our stories. We're about to go back through them one more time, and we'll focus on the best vocabulary and expressions about the changing seasons and changing weather. Okay, so back to the start of your story, Kat. What's autumn like where you're from?
Well, here in Texas, fall isn't really much to write home about. It's just a little less hot than normal.
Okay.
Okay, so Mark asked me, what's autumn like? Now, we do understand the word autumn, of course, in American English, but it is more common to hear the word fall, F-A-L-L. So if you want to start where you're from, you could say here in Texas, here in Mexico, here in Europe, here in North America. So it's kind of talking about where I am now, especially if someone was asking where you're from, something like that. So you can say here in Texas, where I am now. Fall isn't really much to write home about. So it isn't much to write home about. Okay, so that kind of means that it isn't very interesting. All right, it's kind of boring, to be honest. But a nice way to say that is, well, fall isn't really much to write home about, meaning I'm not going to write a letter home. Wow, you won't believe fall is so amazing here. No, I won't write that because it's actually kind of boring. It's just a little less hot than normal. It's just a little less hot than normal. So nothing big changes, right? There's not this big changing of the seasons here in Texas. It's really just a little less hot than normal. All right, Mark, what about you? How's the weather where you are?
We've definitely moved on from summer now. So we have definitely moved on from summer now. So maybe a few weeks ago, it was hot and sunny and typical summer weather, but now it's changed. So we have moved on. Move on means we've started a new phase or we've started a new chapter. We've moved on from something. So summer is finished. We've moved on from summer. If you've also finished talking about something, maybe in a meeting, yes, we've moved on from the last topic. Now we're talking about something new or something different. So the weather's different, and that's why we've moved on from summer. So I'll explain more in detail about the changes in the weather, but up to now, we've definitely moved on from summer. The weather has changed. So back to your story, Kat. Have the days started getting cooler?
Yeah, the seasons change really slowly, but lately I have felt that subtle shift in the air. Okay, so the seasons where I live, they change really slowly. It usually just gets more hot at the beginning of the year and then less hot at the end of the year. So there isn't this really big, abrupt change. So they change really slowly. But lately, I have felt that subtle shift in the air. In this sentence, I'm really trying to show you the positive side. Well, seasons change really slowly. That sounds kind of negative, but I have done this. So we usually use this for kind of some emphasis to really say, oh, yeah, this was kind of negative, but I have done this, or I have felt that. So that's kind of why you'll hear that emphasis. It's to really kind of show you the difference between the negative and the positive. So the seasons change really slowly, but lately I have felt that subtle shift. Subtle shift. So the word subtle has a B in it, but we don't say it. S-U-B-T-L-E. Subtle. Subtle. And there's a subtle shift. And if something is subtle, it's not really dramatic. It's just very soft and subtle, a very small, you almost can't see it. You almost can't feel it, but it is subtle. So I have felt that subtle shift or change, subtle shift in the air. Like, wait a second, something's different. Something's changing. I don't know exactly what it is, but something's changing. Something's happening. All right. What about you, Mark? You said you've moved on from summer. What was it like before?
Well, just a couple of weeks ago, we still had those long, sunny evenings. So just a couple of weeks ago, just meaning recently, or I want to put emphasis that it was not a long time ago, just 2 minutes ago, just last week, just a couple of weeks ago. It feels very close. We had those long, sunny evenings. A long evening is when the sun stays in the sky and the sun sets very late. It's one of my favorite things about British summer is that the days are long. We have long days and long evenings. Sometimes you can be outside at 8:30 or even close to 9 p.m. and you still have daylight, which is great. But that was a few weeks ago. So that's finished. We had those long, sunny evenings. I'm already missing summer because the weather's changing. And yes, one of my favorite parts are those long evenings. In winter, we use the same thing, but you have long nights, those very long, dark evenings and short days. Okay, so back to your side again. What clothes do you normally wear in the fall or autumn?
Well, mornings are finally crisp, so I've started layering up a long sleeve zip up or a hoodie over a light layer or two underneath. Crisp is a really good word when everything feels fresh, really fresh in the morning. That it's not just that warm summer air, but it's just a kind of a bite, just a tiny bit, right? So it's not cold per se. It's not cold exactly, but they are crisp, like just a just a little chill.
It's
So
really fresh.
Exactly. I've started layering up. Now, you heard the word layer, and layer is where we have more than one level. Okay. So these are called layers. So I might put on a tank top, a short sleeve, a sweater, and a jacket. That's 4 layers. So I've started layering up. Up is a little word sometimes we use at the end and we turn it into a phrasal verb. So if I'm layering, okay, but if I'm layering up, it sounds like I've put on as many layers as I can and I'm finished. So I've layered up. I've started layering up a long sleeve zip up, long sleeve. Sleeve on your shirt is what covers your shoulders. Short sleeve, no sleeve, long sleeve. A long sleeve zip up. So a zip up could be anything. It could be a dress that zips up, a zip up dress, could be a zip up jacket, a zip up sweater, or a hoodie. Hoodies are very common in the United States. It's really the material. It's a soft cotton material, and you put a hood over your head, over a light layer or two underneath. So think about the layers here. We have something light, and then we move to something heavy. So we have a light layer, 2 light layers, a light layer or two, and then the heavier items. Why? Because we can take them off nice and easily. And when it's chilly in the morning, it might be warmer in the afternoon. So then you can take a few of those layers off. All right. That is something I do like about British summers, all those long summer evenings. So what's it like right now?
Well, now it's getting dark earlier and the mornings feel a lot cooler. Okay, so in my last part, I was talking about the long sunny evenings of summer. Now it's getting dark earlier. It's getting. Get is often used as another word for become. It's changing. It's getting every day a little bit more. It's getting darker and darker. The days are getting shorter as we get closer to winter. So it's getting dark earlier. That's one of the first things you notice when summer is finished. You see the sun go down and you think, oh, it's only 6:30. Huh. Or what happens to me is a TV show starts and it's dark outside. And then I notice that the TV show is at the same time, but the weather has changed. And just like Kat, with the crisp mornings, me too, the mornings feel a lot cooler. It's often quite chilly when you wake up. Maybe when you wake up for work at 7:30 or 8, you don't really want to go outside because the mornings feel a lot cooler. And yes, British people will also put on layers just to get through the mornings. That's when you know autumn's here. Okay, well, back to your side. Yes, the layers, I think, are a good idea. Is the temperature quite up and down in Texas?
Yeah, by lunchtime, once the sun is fully out, I'm back in a short sleeve. So
Right.
when we're talking about layering, right, I put on those light layers, the heavier layers on top, the lighter layers underneath. Why? Because by lunchtime or at lunchtime or before lunchtime, once the sun is fully out, I'm back in a short sleeve. So sometimes in the morning, especially when it's cool out, maybe it's a little cloudy, it's a little overcast, but once the sun is fully out, meaning it's not cloudy anymore, the sun is 100% shining. Once the sun is fully out, I'm back in a short sleeve. Okay. Maybe I had a long sleeve hoodie. Maybe I had a sweater on. Those are all gone. I put the jacket on the back of my work chair and I'm back in a short sleeve, meaning I went back to my lighter layers. I took them all off, the other ones. So, what do you normally wear during the fall season?
Well, I've had to dig out my jumpers again, and I've even started taking a scarf when I head off to work. Okay, so I see a flag there. Is it for jumpers?
It is for jumpers.
Right. What would you call a jumper? in American English?
A sweater. A sweater.
Right, sure. Yes, lots of British people wear a jumper. It's often a thick, long sleeve top, and it keeps you nice and warm. In the past, we've talked about Christmas jumpers or silly Christmas jumpers. But yes, because the weather is a little bit cooler and colder, I have had to, I've had to, or the weather forced me to dig out my jumpers. Dig is usually with a spade and digging in the ground, but I don't mean that literally. I mean, I went into my wardrobe, opened it, and I looked through my clothes and found my jumpers and other cold clothes. So maybe it was at the back, maybe it was quite difficult to find, maybe it was at the bottom of a deep drawer. I had to dig out my jumpers. Aha, here it is. So I hadn't worn them for quite a while, so I had to go and dig them out. And I've even started taking a scarf when I head off to work. A scarf is that long, soft piece that goes around your neck to keep your neck warm. And because the weather is so cold or chilly in the morning, I have started these days, I have started taking a scarf when I head off to work. Head off to work means I leave my house, and that's often the coldest time is in the morning. So yes, I'm suddenly taking and bringing these cold, almost wintry clothes with me, my jumpers and a scarf, because it's chilly. What about you? What changes have you made to your clothes?
Well, I've swapped my flip-flops for my tennis shoes and pulled out a few comfy sweaters. Flip-flops. They are the sandals that fit between your toe and then they kind of wrap around your feet. So we do, if you just want to call them sandals, anything with open toes are sandals. But flip-flops make that flip-flop, flip-flop, that flip-flop sound. So I've swapped. I've swapped means I've exchanged or I've traded. So my flip-flops stay in the closet and I brought out my tennis shoes. My tennis shoes. So not only is this very American, this is actually kind of more the South of the United States. I actually heard a Mexican friend call them their tennies as well. So that my dad used to say something like that. Tennis shoes are not just for tennis. They are sneakers. They're sneakers. But it is common in the South. Of course, we know the word sneakers, but a lot of us will say tennis shoes, sneakers, or kind of our athletic shoes sometimes as well. So I've swapped my flip-flops for my tennis shoes and pulled out, like Mark went digging for some items, I pulled out a few comfy sweaters. Now, why am I pulling them out? They're probably in storage somewhere. Like Mark said, maybe the back of the closet, deep in a box somewhere. So I pulled out a few comfy sweaters. Something that is comfy is nice and soft, maybe not too hot, but still feels good.
As what about the shoes? In the UK, tennis shoes are trainers.
Trainers,
White
yes.
trainers or Nike trainers or
Right.
New Balance trainers.
Even though you would say that word, and I kind of know the word, we would rarely use the word trainers. That's kind of for the person that trains you at the gym. So in American English, we've got sneakers, tennis shoes, athletic shoes. And then Mark, you'd probably say trainers. Would you say anything else? Like sneakers or something?
No, sneakers is super
No.
American. The people
Super
make fun
American.
of you.
Oh, I didn't realize. Okay.
Trainers. Yeah,
All
just
right,
trainers.
nice. Exactly. Now, what about flip-flops? Do you even have flip-flops over there?
Flip-flops are for the beach and holidays when you go to hot places and you're going outdoors where you might take them off. You might see flip-flops, but that's really, really just for summer.
Okay, nice. All right. So, yeah, Mark, what do you think about autumn? Is it a nice season for you?
I actually quite like autumn here, though. The parks look amazing as the trees turn gold and red, and there's this really nice crisp feeling in the air. So far, I've been complaining about the long evenings going away. I had to dig out my clothes. I sound quite grumpy, but I actually, so let's contrast one, I actually quite like autumn here, though. So I use two contrasting things just to show you I'm not upset, I'm not angry. I actually quite like autumn here, though. Quite like, I might wave my British flag for that because I quite like it. I quite like
Really, I
autumn.
would probably say really. I really like it.
Right. So quite like for me is if I think something is unpopular with other people, but actually I quite like it. If I think that I'm going against popular opinion, I'll use quite like. So maybe there's a food that people think is horrible, but if I like it, I say, oh, I actually quite like Scotch eggs, or I actually quite like haggis, even though a lot of people don't. So if you have an unpopular opinion, that's a way to say it. I actually quite like autumn there. And I like it because the parks look amazing. The parks are full of trees, and the leaves on the trees turn gold and red. Leaves turn means they change colour. So in the spring, they turn green, but in the autumn, they turn gold, turn brown, turn red, turn yellow. There's many different autumnal colours. So yes, as the leaves turn, they turn gold, and it looks amazing. And similar to what Kat said, there is this really nice crisp feeling in the air. It's a little bit cooler, but it feels nice to breathe, to feel on your skin. When you open the door in the morning, it's not hot, it's cool, it's crisp. So yeah, with similar weather to Texas in that way. All right, so last part of your story, back to clothes again. Are you into the kind of trendy autumn fashion clothes?
Well, I haven't really brought out my fall-inspired wardrobe yet, but maybe by October. So when we kind of are talking about summer fashion, fall fashion, winter fashion, or you can talk about your wardrobe. Now, your wardrobe is the clothes you currently have ready to wear. So if I have my summer wardrobe, it's going to probably be shorts, t-shirts, tank tops, maybe a pair of jeans, flip-flops, belts, etc. So it's all my current clothes. But if I want to bring out my winter wardrobe, that might be in boxes, that might be in storage. So I haven't really brought that out yet. So bring out your wardrobe, unpack those boxes. I haven't really brought out my fall inspired wardrobe. So you'll kind of see a lot of the outfits, a lot of the sweaters when they're kind of this brown, golden, yellow, orange, red color. This is fall inspired, right? Which means that the designers made the colors around the idea of fall, or autumnal inspired. I kind of see that on magazines and fashion trends and things like that. So I haven't really brought out my fall inspired wardrobe yet, but maybe by October. I don't know, maybe by November, to be honest. Now in Texas, yes, like I said, the fall is nothing to write home about. It doesn't really change color. The weather kind of changes by October, by November. And the word by here just means before. By October, hopefully, I can bring out my new wardrobe. Maybe before October, but probably not. Probably not.
Right. Okay.
And our last phrase, fingers crossed, means I hope. I hope.
The idea, Halloween is a good reference because Halloween in England is at the end of October and it's usually really cold. Like the weather influences what kind of costume you wear. You have to wear something with long sleeves. But I've heard in Texas, it's like still warm and sunny outside, even on Halloween.
I know. Sometimes kids are wearing just cute little summertime outfits for Halloween because it's still quite warm. Yeah. Yeah. So, Mark, what about you? It feels like autumn is really right around the corner.
Yes, it definitely feels like autumn's on our doorstep. And we're getting ready for those cozy evenings again. Okay, so Kat said autumn is around the corner. That means it's very, very close. Maybe just a few more days or a few more weeks. Another phrase for that, autumn is on our doorstep. The doorstep is the little step in front of your door, and it's where you knock on someone's door. So if it's on your doorstep, it's really close. It's right there. It's right outside your house. And it's saying, hello, I'm here. Can I come in? So it feels like, or in my opinion, it feels like autumn is autumn's on our doorstep. You can use this for all seasons. Christmas is on our doorstep. The new year is on our doorstep at the end of December. So we are getting ready. We're preparing. We're getting ready for those cozy evenings again. So earlier in the script, I talk about those long sunny evenings of summer. Now in autumn, the nights are going to get longer and the days will get shorter. But it's still quite nice. Sometimes it's quite nice when it's dark outside and you have a nice warm room inside. That feeling is cozy. When you feel safe and warm and comfortable indoors, it's quite cozy. So you may have a blanket, your comfortable sofa, you might have a pet, a cat or a dog on your lap. That's really cozy. So again, I know I've been complaining, but I'm actually not too upset that autumn is here. We're getting ready for those cozy evenings. Those ones like the ones you remember from last year. Those ones that we experience every year. We're getting ready for those cozy evenings again.
All right, now that you've heard our fall and autumn stories, let's go back and listen again so you can practice the vocabulary and expressions. So, here in Texas, fall isn't really much to write home about. It's just a little less hot than normal. The seasons change really slowly, but lately I have felt that subtle shift in the air. Mornings are finally crisp, so I've started layering up a long sleeve zip up or a hoodie over a light layer or two underneath. By lunchtime, though, once the sun is fully out, I'm back in a short sleeve. I've swapped my flip-flops for my tennis shoes and pulled out a few comfy sweaters, but I haven't really brought out my fall-inspired wardrobe yet. But maybe by October, fingers crossed.
Okay, and here's my story one more time. We've definitely moved on from summer now. Just a couple of weeks ago, we still had those long sunny evenings, but now it's getting dark earlier and the mornings feel a lot cooler. I've had to dig out my jumpers again, and I've even started taking a scarf when I head off to work. I actually quite like autumn here though. The parks look amazing as the trees turn gold and red, and there's this really nice crisp feeling in the air. But it definitely feels like autumn's on our doorstep, and we're getting ready for those cozy evenings again.
All right, so there you go. Lots and lots of great vocabulary, all about the weather getting a little bit cooler and summer turning into fall. So tell us in the comments, what's the weather like where you live? Has it been changing over the last few weeks? Is it getting a bit cooler? Please let us know. We read and reply to every single comment we get here on YouTube.
Yes, we do. And once again, don't forget you can join our YouTube memberships to get PDF transcripts of this episode and all of our other episodes as well. You can also join the vocabulary builder level to get the bonus materials that we make for every episode as well. And you can see the links to those all in the description below.
Thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you next time on High Level Listening.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.